Welcome to East Atlanta Church, where ministry is made simple by Pastor Jéan L. Ward.
Now let's get down to it. You know, I told y'all that there's a thing going on. We're going to talk about harvest. Y'all know what harvest time is, right? Yeah. You know, some of y'all are trying to do y'all Halloween, hallelujah, trick or treat, and all this and stuff. But we're going to do what real harvest is. How many people are ready for your harvest? Just raise your hand. If you're ready for your harvest, raise your hand and praise God. Okay, now I'm going to ask you this question. How many of y'all are ready to work? Okay, because see, here's the thing about harvest. Everybody wants to talk about when their shift comes in, and they want to talk about when their harvest comes in, and they want to talk about when everything is going to come, the windfall, you know, the windfall. But here's the thing we got to understand when we want to talk about a harvest. There must be preparation before there is your presentation. That means that you cannot go along expecting God to do something for you when you're not ready or capable to even handle what you're asking God for. So this morning I'm going to try to be brief with you, but work with me, walk with me so we can get there. Turn with me to Jeremiah 12, 1 through 5. I want to give you a little backdrop of what's going on in here now. Jeremiah here is dealing with, you know, the children of Israel here, dealing with individuals that are supposed to be going from one place to the next. But oftentimes, we always want to go to a promised land, but we don't want to keep a promise. We want to go to a promised land, but we don't want to keep a promise. And so we're picking up here, and okay, make sure that wasn't a touchdown that fell off, you know, because we're going to win today. It says, Jeremiah 12, verse 1, righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee. You let me talk with thee in thy judgments. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are the way of the wicked prosper? Let me just break that down. We often complain about people that are doing bad things seem to get their good things. Why I hear from church folk, why is it bad people get blessed? Why is it God wants me to do right, but yet they do everything under the sun, and they get to have their job, they get to have the marriage, they get to have the presidency. I mean, they get to have the company, they get to have all those things, and they're not living right. We've seen that happen. So what's going on here is he's saying, listen, he's seeing where the wicked is prospered. Wherefore are all the happy that deal very treacherously? Why is it the individuals that are bad and do treachery seem to be that they're happy? But those of us that are trying to do your bidding and your will, we're not in that same place. That's all right. Thou hast planted them, yea. They have taken root. They grow. Yea, they bring forth fruit. They are near in their mouth and far from their reins. But thou, O Lord, knowest me. Thou hast seen me and tried my heart toward thee. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter and prepare them for the day of slaughter. How long shall the land mourn and the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? The beasts are consumed, and the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. But here, I want you to get this. All right. If thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with horses? And if in the end of the land of peace, where thou trustest, they wearied thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of Jordan? Let me help you understand what he's saying. He's saying that there's situations that we go through in life that we look at everybody else that's doing the wrong thing in the kingdom, doing the wrong thing for God, but yet at the same time they seem to be getting blessed. They seem to want to rob, steal, kill, lie, deceive, everything towards you in the kingdom, but God is blessing them. They even make laws to legalize the sin that they're doing, amen? And he's saying, I don't understand this, but you know me, God. Why am I going through so much when I'm doing what you called me to do, and they're getting blessed, and I'm getting stuck with people that are complaining? But then he thought about it. He said, wait a minute. How can we complain here when what we want is greater there? So the first thing I want you to do is my first point, is I want you to ask yourself this question. I want you to do the job that is required of you now with the intensity of the job you desire later.
Well, good point.
See, when you're talking about your harvest, because this is what this is all about. When you're dealing with your harvest, the thing is, you have to realize, what is it you want out of life?
That's right.
What are you seeking? You got to ask, what are you seeking and why are you seeking? You want to just say, what are you seeking and why are you seeking it? Well, Pastor, why do you say what and why? Because see, if you don't know what you're seeking, you won't know when you find it.
Right, all right.
Okay? In other words, what does success look like? I'm seeking gold. Well, what does gold look like? Well, matter of fact, that's what, if you don't know this is some gold, I'm going to give you some rocks and you don't think you got gold, amen? Matter of fact, many of y'all have been hooked with your bamboozled that same way, amen? Because you didn't, come on. Y'all have been in some relationships and you thought it was gold because you didn't know what a real relationship looked like and it was cold.
Amen. Come on.
But if you had trusted in God within a little bit while, you would have some time and some pressure would turn that coal into a diamond, but that's another message.
All right.
Won't he do it? Now,
Won't he do it?
here's the thing. So we have to prepare ourselves for it. That means that how can, there's a scripture somewhere in the Bible, in Matthew 25 and 23, you know, it says, his Lord said unto him, well done, thy good and faithful servant, thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things.
That's right.
Enter into thy joy with thy Lord. Wow. The International Version says, his master replied, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things, I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness.
Well,
I like that version a little bit better. Because he says, listen, if you're faithful over what you're going through now,
all right.
not only will I give you something greater,
Come on.
but you're going to share with me in my joy.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think y'all get that right now. Now, can you imagine what makes God happy? And God says that he will share his joy and his happiness with us, along with giving us the promise. Along with giving us what we asked for. But the thing is, he says, you got to work right now for what you want tomorrow. And I love this. It said, if you see this thing right here, it says, cleaner required. Oxbridge degree preferred. What does that mean? Most of us will look at it and say, listen, I am too educated, I'm too knowledge, I'm too world, I'm too wordy, I'm too much of the word, I'm too much of a Christian, I'm too saved, I'm too sanctified, I'm too holy, I'm too everything, I'm too good looking, I'm all of this, I'm too good to be cleaning some pews.
All right.
But God said, I need all those people that are too good because there's some greatness for you, but I can't trust you until I see how humble you are. You want ministry, you want to do greater works. God said, well, do the work right now where you are. How can I trust you? How can I trust you if I give you $1 and you keep going to the store buying candy? How can I trust you when I give you seeds and you eat them instead of sowing them? Matter of fact, what I gave you was the promise, but you destroyed it by eating it. He said, you don't value what I have given you because you're not taking care of it, not realizing that's the seed for what you asked for. So if you can't value it as a seed, how can you value it as a harvest? See, the scripture says the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, because don't nobody want to work. See, we always talk about, I want to reap. You don't want reap it. Church folk don't want to reap their harvest.
Well,
They just want to be given their harvest.
that's it.
There's a difference between reaping and being given. See, you want to talk about millennials and their privileged attitude. The church is the most privileged people there is. They feel that everything is owed to them just because they go to church. Just because they call the name of Jesus, you feel you are entitled. Just because you call the name Jesus, you feel you are entitled. Just because you dress up like a churchgoer, you think you're entitled. Understand, and to be entitled into the kingdom of God and the promises of God takes work.
That's it.
It takes sacrifice.
That's right.
It takes repentance. It takes integrity.
Yes, it does.
It takes struggle. It takes pain. It takes loving folk that don't want to love you. I didn't say that don't. I said loving folk that don't want to love you. Doing for those that intentionally abuse you. I said intentionally. I didn't say accident. I'm talking about those ones that intentionally go out to do things against you. Praying for those that want your downfall. Because see, God is saying, here, you know, I say, well, but you don't understand, Pastor. You know, they want me to actually clean up and do this, and you know, want me to go here, and you want me to talk about the gospel and evangelize, and you know, I love it when I meet young preachers and they're ready to go and preach in everybody's church, but they can't share Jesus in the supermarket.
Well, you're right, sir.
Everybody want to get on Facebook and got a whole lot of messages to say. And all their morning inspirations and their little video clips and all this. But when you run into them in the street, their life is nothing like that. You want to talk about, I'm going to pray for you. Can you pray with me right now?
Right.
How many times you ever told somebody you're going to pray for them and you don't even pray? Y'all quit praying for you, sister. Praying for you, brother. I'm going into church praying for you, praying. And y'all going to the next thing. Click, like, share. Am I lying?
Good point.
Stop right there. I get up early in the morning, about 4:30 in the morning, and I have requests in my messenger and email and text and Facebook, and people saying, Pastor, can you pray? And sometimes it's inundated, and I take time and I pray for every single person.
Amen. Okay,
now this is not me bragging. What I'm saying is, I have to do it that way because I know if I go to anything else, I won't do it. And if I want God to do some things for me, I got to do a whole lot of things for Him.
that's right.
So the people say, well, I don't have enough time today. Well, I wake up earlier to do it.
That's right.
You understand? Well, I need my sleep. Well, I need my God.
There you go. Huh?
You understand? Well, Pastor, I need to make sure that I'm functioning right. Well, God's going to make sure I function right.
Right.
You'll catch me once out of every 3 months with a bad attitude. Now, when it comes, it comes. I'm going to tell you, when it comes, it comes. And I try to escape and move away from people, but if you keep staying in my way, you're going to feel the wrath, and then I'm going to have to repent for it. But I told you, I'm in a place, leave me alone. Because I am what? A work in progress. I'm not there yet. I haven't arrived yet. Okay? And I can admit that. And the more we realize that, we're realizing, you know what? I want the bigger job, but I don't even qualify for the one I'm at. Because to be honest with you, I'm not qualified to clean the church.
That's right.
Because if you think about what the church is, a sanctus sanctorum, which is a holy place. And if you understand the temple, and Pastor, correct me if I'm wrong, that back in the day, the reason that the priests wore the robes and they had the rope is because they had a bell tied to it, that when they went in to pray for the people, that if he was not pure and walking in integrity and was not right with God, he would die. Am I correct, sir? And if he died and they would hit the bell, they used the rope to pull him back out, the dead body. See, that's why I said I'm really not even worthy enough to clean the church. Because see, there's some things about me God still is cleansing.
Okay then.
So I'm not worthy of it. So I thank God that I no longer need a rope and a bell for you to pull me out. But I'm going to tell you something, many of y'all probably wouldn't have made it past the front door.
Better say it.
Good point.
See a whole lot of dead bodies right there before you. I ain't talking about New Orleans, like I know y'all got it.
Say it.
I'm talking about everybody else.
Say
Wow.
it.
But that's the thing. You got to prepare for it. You have to do the job now. But the next thing is this. Go to the next point. The next point, and I know it's kind of hard to read. I apologize. Stop crying and complaining about the challenges when you ask for greater. We ask for God to bless us, but at the same time, we want to cry and be like, look, it's too much, and they don't like me, and it's hard, and we out here in the wilderness. And here's the thing. Here's what I love. It says that, so they were here, they are traveling, and they got people that are after them, and they're hungry, and here's what I love Jeremiah said. He said, listen, there are wicked people with me, God. Remove them from me and slaughter and take them like lambs going to the slaughter. How you gonna get mad? Because there are evil people with you. You gonna get mad because people are hating on you, lying on you, talking about you. But you said you want greater, misunderstanding you, but you want greater. But the thing is, you don't want to deal with what you are right now. That's a part of being greater. Understand, we always say, what that does not kill me makes me what? All right then. You don't get stronger by working out with less weight. You get stronger by working out with heavier weight.
Go through.
Man, if you're trying to just trim up and cut the fat, then you deal with lighter weight. See, that's another problem. Because many of y'all don't want to cut the fat. Y'all want to get stronger. Y'all want to keep that weight with you. And then you can't understand why you got issues. That's what I'm free. Think about that for a second. But either way, we cry going through it. Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? The question is, why not you?
Okay.
You're going to have all these other animals and insects and these birds of prey and these beasts that are come to defile and eat up. You're going to have all these things that are going to come at you. And if you're not ready to deal with that because you can't deal with this, why are you complaining about what you want over there when you can't deal with what's right here? You're having the hardest time paying taxes on $30,000 a year. Talking about you want to make $300,000 a year. Talking about you're going to be faithful. Really? You can't keep your 1,400 square foot apartment clean, and you want a 3,900 square foot house. You just got more places, more stuff to chunk up.
Right. Keep it real. Keep it real.
I mean, am I making sense this morning?
Yes. Totally.
So we're not preparing for our harvest.
That's right.
We're not preparing for it. You're asking, we complain, God says build a shed. Why do I need to build a shed? I ain't got nothing to go with it. You know, years ago, I gotta put my wife on the spot. I like going to the car show.
All right.
Okay? I love going to the car show. I don't like going to the new one now because they take away all the things that I aspire for. Okay, see, I like going when they have, Lamborghinis and, Ferraris and Lotuses, things like that, McLarens. Some of y'all have no idea what that is. Aston Martin, a Vector W2. See, my car people, my car people know about this. But see, my wife would hate going because she was like, I don't want to go here looking at stuff that I can't afford. My thing is, I need to go here to know what I need to do to afford what's out there that I don't even know about. See, how can I say how great God is when I'm still only limited to what I know right now? I have to expand my horizon to know that there's something greater. Understand, what does that mean? Knowing what the goal looks like.
That's right. That's right.
Give me something to aspire to. Not making that my God, but letting me know there's more to life than this.
That's right. Lord Jesus, thank you.
I read books on how to build ministry and how to reach and evangelize people because there's more to life than this. There's more knowledge than what I have in my head. So therefore I need to open up and build warehouses of knowledge in my mind to be ready for the space and the knowledge God will fill. But if I keep saying I've got enough and I don't build more sheds, I don't build more storehouses, I can't handle what God is going to give me. How you gonna talk about you want more financially and you got one bank account? I want you to think about that for a second. I'm not even talking about, you just got a checking, not even a savings. You bank with one bank. Ain't talking about, I'm ready for my windfall. God don't bless me. You don't even know how to diversify your money. Most church folk, actually, it has said the black church has less disposable income than anyone else. Disposable income. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't spend money disposably. It just means that we don't have disposable income. There's a difference. Now, we can dispose of money very well, amen? It's just not disposable money, okay? But if you're not set up for that, how can God prepare you for that?
Right.
Ain't it kind of backwards to give a kid a car before they have a driver's license? Think about it. You know? So we have to prepare for it. But we can't whine and we can't cry because it gets hard. Because it's meant to be hard. It's meant to be a struggle. God is saying, I'm preparing you. In other words, he says, listen, you're complaining about the footmen here. In other words, I love what her friend of mine put it. He said, you're complaining about the infantrymen fighting you. But what you don't understand is, when I bless you, the cavalry is who's going to come after you. See, y'all worried about, and let me put it in layman's terms. Y'all worried about infantrymen, just regular soldiers.
Yeah.
Okay? And maybe some Marines that are attacking you. God says, what you want, you don't have Marines and soldiers coming after you. You got special forces. You got SEAL teams. You got Green Berets. Okay? You have all those individuals that are coming after them. You don't have a guy with a machine gun that's shooting, trying to just get whatever he can. You got snipers that are zero focus on you to destroy you. And you're sitting up here talking about you can't handle somebody with a rifle that's shooting ambiguously, and you talking about you ready to go against somebody who's going to aim at you to take you out.
Yeah.
You're not ready because you haven't prepared yourself. So we have to we got to stop complaining. God is showing you how to focus on it. This is only preparation. The next thing he says is this. He says back and he says, you have to realize your harvest is bigger than you.
All right.
And not intended just for you.
All right.
Realize your harvest is bigger than you. See, that goes back to what you're doing, what you got. If you're not sharing what you have, then how can God trust you to share what he gives you? Another thing about the Dead Sea, you're familiar with the Dead Sea, right? We're talking about Mount Hermon and the snow-capped mountains of Hermon, Mount Hermon draining down, going down through the Sea of Galilee, down the Jordan River that then flows into the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea we know is what? Dead, right? Y'all know why it's called the Dead Sea? Because it's basically still water, salt water, nothing can live there, and it's kind of still, nothing goes out of it. It flows in. Did you know as of the 1960s, the Dead Sea is shrinking? Wait a minute, hold on. The Sea of Galilee, which is up the road, is a resort center. People are jet skiing, doing everything else there. No, literally they are. Am I lying? It's a resort. Is it not? Sea of Galilee, is it not a resort? I mean, it's a beautiful place. Okay, hotels, everything. It's nice there. The Dead Sea, people are losing money. There's 5,000 sinkholes that has developed around the Dead Sea. Wait a minute. So the Sea of Galilee has water coming in, has water coming out. It's thriving. The Dead Sea has water coming in, nothing going out. It's dying. I work a job, got money coming in, don't let nothing go out. My bank account is overdrawn. I work a job, got money coming in, got money going out. My bank accounts are overflowing. I don't think y'all got that. As long as you try to keep holding on to what you have now, God can't give you greater. You have a problem with tithing and giving, and I'm one of these guys. I'm so far off of this whole. Don't get this wrong. I'm so far off of this mandated tithing thing because here's the reason why. I believe in tithing, but if I have to make you do what you're supposed to do, then I'm kind of doing you a disservice on one end because of the fact that you're missing what you're doing, because you're now going to get caught up into the rules and not the service. You're going to get part of the ritual and not the relationship.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
That's right.
Now, that doesn't mean I don't believe in it. I'm just saying we have focused so much on, I'm going to mandate and scare you into doing it.
That's right.
I don't want to scare you into doing it. I want you to know that's what you want to do. Love me because you love me, not because you have to love me. And if you can't do it, then you don't love me. It goes right back to what I said earlier about valuing people.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a setup earlier. You said, y'all all said y'all want to feel valued, right? Okay? Well, then value God. Let it flow. I had a friend this week, or last week, didn't have, and I'm not saying they do this, but this friend said, listen, I have a coworker who can't pay their rent. I'm going to give them $80 towards the rent, you know, because I can't pay my car note right now anyway, you know, but I can pay it on my next check. But I'm going to go ahead and help them with their rent so they won't be put out. Now, I'm not, pastors, we got to be really careful when we say stuff, because we're not saying this is every situation. I said, what did God say? She said, God told me to go ahead and go to the ATM and give them $80. Then go to the ATM and give them $80.
That's right.
They called me back this week and said, you know my kids are grown, and I don't really expect child support no more, but child support found out that they had $3,500 that was left over that they owed me.
Well.
Then I was I was cleaning out my car, and I found a money order for $800 that I didn't know was sent to me in another envelope. Won't he do it? Now, here's the thing. If you take this and say, ooh, I'm going to give it to somebody because I might get something out of it, then you miss the message.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You miss the message. The message was the fact that she had a relationship with the Father, and it touched her heart to go ahead and give, even when she knows she didn't have. But she realized that, listen, I don't want to be the Dead Sea, I want to be Galilee.
Good point. Good point.
Because see, here's the funny part about it. Just as the Dead Sea is dying, everyone who's connected to it is dying. But just as the river Jordan overflows, everybody connected to that is overflowing. So we have to really understand it's not meant for you. Everything that you get is not meant for you. Now here's that other thing you got to realize. Because your harvest is not just meant for you, it's meant for those around you. There's some of you that are not getting your harvest because you're in time to people that God says not for them.
Amen. Amen.
Some of you are connected to people that God said, I don't need them right now. Get them this. So you got to get the relationship right. And then the final thing is we have to realize we have to be ready for the transition. You know, you have to be ready for the transition. And the transition, for you to transition, death must come. Death must come. And I had a hard time when God gave me that point. I said, God, I don't know if people are ready to hear this. I don't know if they really know the truth about it. I said, because for me to tell them that death must come, I got to admit to them that Christ died. That's right. And Christ dying, and you know, death, I teach, death is to be absent from the Father. And one of the hardest things that got me was when I thought about Christ and God being separated from one another. See, mothers, I know y'all understand that be separated from your child and watch your child die is one of the most horrific things in the world. But for a man, a real man, to see his seed, his bloodline, everything about his future coming to a death in a dead end, and you're recovering from it, and you have to sever yourself from it and cut it off, that is something very, very hard.
That's right. You're right, son.
See, we we never thought about the concept that God literally allowed his son to die. Well, you say, Pastor, I don't know if you're theologically correct. Okay, well, let's just go with some a text here. If we look here, Matthew 27:46, it says, and about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Lord Jesus, hallelujah.
Because at that moment, Christ had took on the sins of the world.
Yes, that's right.
God could not even look at him. He had to take that sin, and as many theologians say, had to go down to him.
Yeah.
And let them know who he is.
That's it, man.
It said he descended and then ascended.
That's right.
Which means he died and then he rose.
Yeah.
Which means he was separated, but then he reconnected.
Yes, sir.
Which means there's a time of death for there to be a time of life.
Yeah.
There's a time of dissension for a time of resurrection. So God is sitting here telling me that there are things in your life that you've been going through that has been killing you, and you're asking yourself, why? God, why am I going through this? Why have I gone through this? Why am I dying? Why is it hurting? And you're yet trying to hold on to something that's dead, and God said, let it go. You're holding on to a Dead Sea situation, and you're wondering why things and potholes are coming, and why everywhere you go, it's money seeking now, relationship seeking now, health seeking now, and you're like, God, what is going on? And he said, let it go and die so that you may live. See, when you're going, you have to go through this preparation. Because you can't make it in your new destination. He says you won't make it. There's no way that you will make it through this. He says you have gone through a struggle. Your struggle was not in vain. You went through cancer, and then you made it out. You went through a bad divorce, you made it out. You went through them denying you because of lack of education, but you made it out. You went through people lying on you, but yet you made it out. You went through people stabbing you in your back, but yet you made it out. You went through people setting you up to fall, but yet you made it out. You went through all these things, but you made it out. Your repossession, you made it out. Your foreclosure, you made it out. Your kids acting crazy, you made it out. Incarceration, you made it out. All of this, you made it out. But the thing is, you made it out with God. So when I look at it, I realize that if it had not been for God, I never would have made it. I never would have made it.
You right, sir.
The death of Christ was the life of me. So the death of me is the life of God. I have to do what my daddy said. I have to follow after his footsteps. I have to give up for me to get. I have to sow for me to reap. And I can't be lazy in doing it. So therefore, everything that you've gone through, you have to realize if it wasn't for what you've gone through, you won't make it to where you're going to. And then you'll be able to sing that song Marvin Sapp said so eloquently. Never would have made it without you. Never would have made it. You know that song? You know the song? That song right If you realize that there's more to your life than what you're going through right now, but you also realize you have not been doing what God has asked you to do. You've been playing around. You've been taking it for granted. You've been running off with your gifting and your talent.
Lord Jesus.
And you want God now to begin to anoint what you're doing. I want you to come down right now. Now I know that there's somebody here that realizes that you thought it was in vain. You thought God had forsaken you. And you've been going through the motions, but you realize there's something more to your life than what you have. Your gifting and your talent has taken you where you are. But you're stuck there. You're stuck there because you won't kneel to God and let yourself die. Extend this time. If you realize that you have never given God your life, that if you have not accepted Christ, we want to offer up salvation for you.
Lord Jesus.
You may say, well, Pastor, you just said you wanted me to die. But here's the thing. There's two deaths. We have a choice.
Yes.
We have a temporary death.
Yes.
We have an eternal death. But death is going to come.
Yes, sir.
You do know this. Death is going to come. Either you die right now and be created and have a new creation and live in Christ, or you die for all eternity. This isn't a scare tactic. Some of you think it's okay, but you're just like the treacherous individuals that Jeremiah was talking about. That everything looks good and you look happy, you feel good, but it's a deception. The deceiver has you wrapped in his arms, making you think that everything is well and everything is fine because everything is going your way. But ask yourself, are you sacrificing?
Say that, Pastor. Say that.
Well, I sacrifice myself. Once again, remember, sacrifice is not going without. It's giving up what you have.
That's it. That's it.
Are you sacrificing? Pastor, I give. But you give out of comfort. Do you give out of pain? Do you give till it hurts? And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about your life
Amen.
to God.
Yes, sir.
Do you give till it hurts? If you know you have not been given till it hurts, if you know that you can't realize that every single day, every single step, that you have to call on God, if you're not there, then right here is where you need to come down and let's pray.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Amen.
You need to check. There's an app called Waze. Some of us need to check our ways. Our ways in which we go, our ways in which where we're going, and our ways with the people that we're going with. That'll tell a lot about our destination.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
The people you're with will tell a lot about your destination. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
That's right.
Hear me. Show me your friends, and I will show you your future. If you are the most spiritual person in all of your relationships, you're done. If you're the richest person in all your relationships, you're done.
That's right.
If you're the smartest person in all your relationships, you're done.
That's right.
It's over. There's nowhere else for you to go. But if you got a relationship with the Father, there's your home. If you are humble enough to submit yourself to Him. I heard someone say it best, that we call ourselves Christians, and that means we strive to be Christ-like, amen? But Christ was a follower, not just a leader.
Yes, he is.
If you can't follow, you can't lead. And if you're busy trying to lead and you're not trying to follow, you're dead. You're done. So I'm asking this last time, put it out there. If you realize that you want to get your life right, and they're going to say, you always do this, but if you want to get your life right, because I don't want it to be under my watch that you didn't have the opportunity. Because I'm held accountable to God. I don't like long altar calls, I don't like them at all, but I got to do what God says. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning saying thank you.
Thank you.
We thank you because we realize that we would not have made it without you.
Yes.
But we also realize that we haven't made it to where you want us to go, so we still need you.
Yes, sir.
Your son Paul said it best that our flesh dies daily, and we need to realize that we need to allow things to die inside of us that you may birth something new. Let us begin to build storehouses for your knowledge and your spirit and your wisdom and for what you have for us.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let us move into the direction
Yes.
of relationship and not religiosity, not rituals, not what the world says, but what you say.
Yes.
Let us move out of the eye for an eye and move into the love thy neighbor in spite of. Let us love people that despitefully misuse us and abuse us and that want to kill us.
Thank you.
Let us learn how to love and forgive them. Let us have a spirit of servitude. Let us have a spirit of humbleness.
Well,
Let us stop being so boastful that it's all about us and we have to be in charge. And I know right now I'm speaking even for myself, Father.
yes, Father. Thank you.
Remove that Jezebel spirit
Have mercy.
that is in the church.
Yes.
Remove that spirit that we're using to try to hide everything about us. But Father, put in us also a spirit of compassion
Yes, thank you,
for
Father.
those of us that are trying.
Thank you.
Let us not be a stumbling block for our brothers that are trying and sisters that are trying to get it right. Let us let them know with our walk and our life that it is okay where they are.
Have mercy.
And we're going to love them where they are. And we're going to love them to a better destination.
Yes.
Father, right now, cover us.
Right now,
Keep
Lord
us.
Jesus. Right now, Father.
Keep us close to you. So that we will check our ways with you. For our location, and for our destination, and for our direction. So that we will lean always to you.
Yes, yes.
We thank you for walking with us.
Thank you.
We thank you for walking for us.
Thank you.
Because you carry most of us most of the way. We thank you for the roadblocks you put up to keep us on the right way. We thank you for the stalls that you allow to slow us down. We thank you for sometimes when things just broke down just so we could call on you more.
Thank you.
Because had it not been for the health issues, we wouldn't have gotten to know you. Had it not been for the poor times, we wouldn't have called on you. Had it not been for the incarceration, we wouldn't know how to meditate with you. We thank you for it.
Thank you.
Father, everyone within the sound of my voice, wherever they are, meet them at their faith level.
Yeah.
Whether they're too prideful or they just don't know. Meet them where they are to bring them closer to you.
Oh, yeah.
And let us begin to intercede for them and intercede for each other. These things we ask. In your darling son Jesus' name, amen.